There are so many lucid dreaming techniques out there, and if you've been watching the channel for a while, you probably know how to do them. But it can be hard to choose one to practice, especially when you're not sure if it's the right one for you. Now, you probably read the title of this video and are thinking, why don't you just tell me the best technique? Well, the technique that works best for me is SSILD, but if I told you that it was the best way to lucid dream, that would be wrong and completely subjective. And that's why there are multiple lucid dreaming techniques out there, because everyone is different and every technique has its own pros and cons. Depending on your lifestyle, one might clearly be better than another. So in today's video, I'm going to compare the different lucid dreaming techniques and rank them according to their difficulty, success rate, and more. And at the end of this video, I will give a brief summary of what I think is best for you. I'll try my best to keep this comparison as fair as possible by using statistics that I find on various lucid dreaming websites as a reference point. But I will also be adding my own opinion at times because I do have lots of personal experience with all of these techniques. Hopefully by the end of this video, you will have a pretty good idea as to which technique you should use tonight. Before we get into this video, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button. I post weekly lucid dreaming tutorials, and if you want to master lucid dreaming, or at least do it whenever you want, then hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Also, if you want to see some bonus content that's not on my channel, I've left a link down below to my Patreon where you guys can support me and view all of those exclusive posts. I also have an official Instagram and Twitter account, and every single day I'm going to be posting lucid dreaming tips and more, so make sure that you follow me. The links are down below. While there are several unofficial lucid dreaming techniques, I'm going to be comparing the most popular ones because these generally work best for the vast majority of people. The 5 main techniques that I will be comparing are Wild, Mild, Wake Back to Bed, SSILD, and SSILD. Because I want to keep this video short, I'm going to assume that you already know how to use all of these techniques, so I won't be explaining them here. But if you're a beginner, I've made videos on all of these lucid dreaming techniques, so if you're unfamiliar with one, there are links down below in the description that you can click and learn more. Round 1. Difficulty. It goes without saying that Wild is 100% the hardest lucid dreaming technique. Not only do you have to lie completely still so that you can enter the dream directly, but you also have to use sleep paralysis to get there. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Oh yeah, and you have to wake up in the middle of the night to do it. Speaking of waking up in the middle of the night, the SSILD, SSILD, and Wake Back to Bed techniques also require you to set an alarm and get up at a very early time. Now, that's not the end of the world for most people, but it still requires a lot of willpower to wake up at 3 to 5 a.m. to use a lucid dreaming technique. And because of that, none of these techniques are the absolute easiest in my opinion. The second most difficult one is probably SSILD, just because it requires a lot of mental focus and concentration if you want to achieve results. However, I do know a lot of beginners who somehow got lucky and had success with this on the very first night. So I do recommend trying it out, but if you're not making much progress, then maybe you should do something a bit easier. The next most difficult one would be SSILD, with Wake Back to Bed not that far behind. I think Wake Back to Bed is the easiest of these techniques because all you need to do is wake up, do something for a little bit, and then go back to sleep. However, it still does require you to wake up in the middle of the night, so it's not completely effortless. And that leaves us with Mild. To use Mild, you just have to repeat a phrase to yourself over and over as you drift off to sleep, and you can do it whenever you want. The success rate jumps up by a lot if you do this in the middle of the night, but it's not required, and because of that, I'm going to say that this is the easiest lucid dreaming technique on the list. Round 2. Sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis scares away many lucid dreamers, so it's important to know which techniques increase the chances of it happening to you. Sleep paralysis isn't a bad thing on its own, and you can use it to quickly enter vivid lucid dreams within minutes if you know what to do. I made a video all about sleep paralysis, and you can watch it by clicking in the top corner of this video. Some people might just have bad experiences with it, and want to avoid sleep paralysis at all costs. If you're one of those people, you probably shouldn't consider using the Wild technique. Like I said earlier, you need to go through sleep paralysis in order to see results with this technique. SSILD is a bit different. When you use it, there's a very good chance of entering directly into a dream without experiencing sleep paralysis at all. But there is still a higher risk than the other techniques on this list. SSILD, Wake Back to Bed, and Mild all put you at an extremely low risk of inducing accidental sleep paralysis. I've done a lot of research, and some people say that SSILD is slightly more likely to give you sleep paralysis, but I'm gonna put them all in first place just because it's too hard to tell if one is better than the other. If you want to avoid sleep paralysis, I definitely recommend picking one of those 3 techniques. Round 3. Results and success rate. I feel like the easier a technique gets, the more you're sacrificing when it comes to actual results. Doing milds before you fall asleep doesn't require a lot of effort, but because of that, the chances of it working are lower than other techniques. Wake Back to Bed is also very easy, but again, it's not guaranteed that you'll experience a lucid dream when you use it. However, you can combine these 2 techniques, and if you do, your chances of success are much higher. SSILD is very similar, but it's slightly more effective as long as you can do it right. I've noticed that my dreams are a lot more vivid when using SSILD, and I think that's because it involves stimulating your senses before falling asleep. It's a great method, and if you know how to do it, you definitely should. But that doesn't even come close to the results that you can get from using FSILD. Sure, all of the techniques on this list lead to lucid dreams, but I think that taking the time to practice FSILD is 100% worth it, because if you can get it right, your chances of lucid dreaming are really high. Like I said earlier in this video, it's my favorite one, but just keep in mind that it is still difficult and you do need to spend some time practicing it if you want to get consistent results. Hands down, the best results come from the Wild technique. It's the hardest one for beginners, but if you can get it right, you can enter directly from the waking world into lucid dreams at full consciousness, and they will be the most vivid dreams you've ever had. Not only that, but lucid dreams caused by the Wild technique tend to be a lot longer and more stable than results from other techniques. And I can confirm this from personal experience. The only reason I prefer FSILD over this one is because you need to lie completely still for Wild to work, and for me, that can sometimes be hard. If you're a beginner, I think the best technique for you is combining Mild with Wake Back to Bed. It's pretty easy to do, and you still have a good shot at lucid dreaming every time you attempt it. You can also experiment with FSILD and SSILD, but if it gets too complicated, then I recommend sticking with the easiest techniques, and then when you feel comfortable, working your way up. If you hate waking up in the middle of the night, you can just use Mild whenever you fall asleep. But at least give the other techniques a try, because you never know until you at least try them. I feel like most beginners try to jump straight into harder techniques, like Wild. Don't get me wrong, I think Wild is great, but it is an advanced technique, and I suggest trying it only once you have experience using the other ones on the list. But that's about it for today's video. I hope this helped you decide which technique that you want to start practicing tonight. If you still haven't decided, just leave a comment down below and myself or someone else will try to help you out. Also, feel free to comment down below your video ideas and what you want to see on the channel. And again, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button so that you're notified when new weekly lucid dreaming tutorials come out. And as always, thanks for watching.